The following presentation is brought to you as a courtesy from Forex Academy. This is part of our service, Psychology Trading. If you find it interesting and wish to be updated on new releases, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or join our community at forex.academy and receive all our services for free. Your like is also highly appreciated. Enjoy.
Hello Forex Academy subscribers, and thank you for watching this next video in our trading psychology and methodology series. This video we're going to continue what we talked about with the importance of taking care of yourself and identifying what causes losses because of our psychological and emotional health, and that trading is ultimately a mind-based game. It is a mind game. And so I opened up here, I want to really talk about the importance of humility and taking care of yourself. And I don't mean humility in acting humble. I mean in being realistic about yourself and not letting your ego get ahead of yourself so much. Ego kills accounts. Because many traders, and we all know some of them, they get into trading because they feel it gives them free time, nearly free money. That is a lie. Your own boss, nothing can go wrong. We get into this idea that as a trader, I can tell people that I'm a trader because I'm doing it. And that feels good because people, even those who are not in the field, they understand what day trading is. They've heard of it, or they have an idea of what kind of a lifestyle that is. They probably picture people on boats with people in swimsuits and just having a grand old time because of all the money they make from day trading. So you can kind of get an ego just from that. But one of the reasons that it kills why your ego kills your account is a lot of times people approach trading because they don't make any rules. All right, there's a lot of people who get into trading, and I was one of them where I read all this stuff and I was like, I just get to the parts that tell me how to trade. And so you skip all the other stuff, like you're reading a manual on how to build an IKEA bookshelf, which is actually sometimes a little bit more confusing than you think. But, if you don't make rules, you think, I don't need these directions. I don't need to pay attention to all this. I know what parts are going to be the best for me to read. I know that even though I'm new to this field, I'm probably smarter than everybody else. So I only need a little bit of education to do this. Another reason that your ego kills you is because you don't take responsibility. You don't blame yourself. You lie to yourself. You think that the losses are somebody else's fault. They're not your fault. It was the market makers. It was manipulation. It was my broker. Whatever the reason that you lost money, it's never because of you. That is a very common thing that people do. You know nothing, Trader Joe. Kind of a play on Game of Thrones. You know nothing, Jon Snow. The more you learn about trading, the more you realize you don't know anything about trading. I think this is very true about a lot of professions, especially in professions where you practice a form of a profession, like attorneys practice law, doctors practice medicine, traders practice trading theory. You'll always be fascinated about the things that you didn't know in trading. There's just a whole slew of information and things that you'll just never figure out. And there are so many subtypes of trading and different fields of study that there's many different experts on various concepts of trading as there are in the healthcare field. Like you could, like, trading, saying that I'm a trader, that's just saying, okay, that's the kind of profession. It's like I'm a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but if someone says, well, I'm a doctor, well, what are you a doctor of? Are you a general practitioner? Are you a heart surgeon, a brain surgeon? Are you an eye doctor? There's a whole lot of specialties, so you can specialize in one area very effectively, but just know that there is so much more out there. And I have found over the years of my trading that the more I learn, the more I know that there's stuff I don't know. And so being a consistent student of the market is required. If you ever have a point in your career as a trader where you think you don't need to learn anything else, that's about the time when you'll be done being a trader. One of the things that you should do is find a time-tested system and follow it like a robot. I would suggest the Ichimoku system. The Ichimoku system is a very, very common system. It's very effective. Kind of a testament to its effectiveness and strength is how long it's been used as. Well, I mean, I guess in normal trading software lately, it's only been since the 2000s. But it came to the quote West, I think, in the 90s. But the Ichimoku system is a system that I think new traders should learn how to trade. And if you can trade the Ichimoku system very strictly and by following the rules, then you can move on to something else. Now, certainly there's other types of systems and things that you can trade, but the Ichimoku system certainly is one of the best to learn how to trade if you're new to trading. Learn that system, trade it mechanically like a robot, and you'll be good. All right. Got a quote here from Helmuth Karl Bernhard Graf Moltke. I don't know if I pronounced that right. No plan survives contact with the enemy. That is very true. And know that every moment in the market is its own universe of possibilities, but it operates in the same universe of probabilities. Essentially, you can plan out your trade, and then the minute you enter the market, things go very differently. You're talking about millions of people participating in an activity, and that means that there is a set direction something's going to go, but there is certainly major and minor deviations before you get to that move. So whatever trade plan you have and whatever your strategy is, recognize that it's not always going to go the way you want it to, and things that you didn't know about are going to affect the price movement. That's not your fault. One of the things that you need to avoid as a new trader is the question of why. And that is only related to, let's say there's some economic news release that is very bullish for the pound, but instead of going up, the pound falls down. It's best not to even ask the question why, just follow the price action. Trying to figure out why something happened is usually because you're frustrated the trade didn't happen, and you want to figure out some reason why you lost money so that it wasn't your fault. But of course, anytime you lose money, it's your fault. Trying different systems and methodologies and strategies over and over is a way for you to avoid admitting that you are the reason for failure. This is very common for new folks to do. I know that I did this when I first started trading. Is if I was trading some new system that didn't work out right away, or if I didn't find that I was getting success with it, I would scour the internet for hours and find something else that would, like, quote unquote guarantee a win. And you just try and find something to dull the pain of the loss, and unfortunately you just don't get that often. It's very true that people will spend a lot of time after they started trading and they ended up losing money. They'll try one system after another, and instead of realizing that they are the problem, they keep trying to find the system that's going to fix them, and that there is no system that will fix you. In fact, one of the fathers of technical analysis, William Delbert Gann, oops, he wrote in How to Make Profits in Commodities, he wrote, and this is back in the 20s or 30s, and he wrote, I can give you the best rules in the world and the best methods for determining the position of a commodity, and then you can lose money on account of the human element, which is your greatest weakness. You will fail to follow rules. You will act on hope or fear instead of facts. You will delay. You will become impatient. You will act too quickly, or you will delay too long in acting, thus beating yourself on account of your human weakness, and then you will blame it on the market. Remember that it is your mistake that causes losses, and not the action of the market or the manipulators. Therefore, strive to follow rules or keep out of speculation, for you are doomed to failure. All right? This is something that has been said in trading for years. It's been ever since markets were traded. This is something people have realized, that even though technology has changed, the number of participants has changed, the execution of price and time have changed. Everything's been done to benefit the common man to getting access to the markets. But one thing has not changed, and that is people being inherently unprepared and insecure and afraid when they get into the markets. That has not changed. There has been almost no progress with that. Here's the most powerful tool in trading. All right? And it's that you get to determine how much money you will lose. You are responsible for losses. That is the most powerful tool in trading. World War III could start. The fault line under California could collapse, or Old Faithful out in Yellowstone could explode and destroy half of the United States. Some big tsunami could wipe out all of wherever. I mean, a myriad of horrible things could happen to cause something really bad to happen in the market. Regardless of that, you are responsible for how much money you're going to lose. You can't determine what's going to happen or how much money you're going to gain, but you get to determine how much money you're going to lose. That is a powerful tool. I cannot stress that enough. That of all the things that you are afraid of in the market when you are trading is losing money, ultimately you have power over that. Are there random things that happen like outages, internet outages, interruptions? Sure. But those are far and few between. And if for some reason one trade caused by a hiccup in the internet or a disconnect from your broker, if that one trade breaks your account, you were doing something wrong already. It wasn't that one trade that killed you. You get to determine how much money you're going to lose. And you will never know how much money you could win or lose or what direction the market will go. The market will always move in the direction that will cause the most amount of pain to the most amount of people. Second most powerful tool in trading is to believe that the money you're trading is gone already. So I wrote here that know that your money is gone the moment you put the trade on. If you've determined that the money you're risking on a trade is already gone, then you have no fear of its loss. Most of the causes of the fear and anxiety and feelings of being in a crisis for traders is seeing their balance disappear or seeing a trade go into the negative and not come out of it. If you know how much money you're going to risk in a trade, and if you train yourself to automatically deduct that amount from your balance, then when the price action moves against you, or if it hits that stop, it's not a surprise to you. In fact, you have to change your whole mindset. When you put in a trade, you should not hope that it makes you money. All right? You should not hope that it's going to hit your profit target. Hope is dangerous. you should enter that trade and recognize that there is a probability of it going into profit. But otherwise, you have a very strong probability of losing money. And if you are only willing to risk $100, let's say it's just $100 or $10 or $10,000, whatever amount of money, if it's $100, I'm going to say I'm going to risk $100. I'm going to accept $100 of loss on this trade to see another 100 or 200 or 300 or 400. But I know that when I put in that trade, I'm willing to give that $100 away, and I won't see it again. Okay? Think of it as buying a probability, an option. Think of it like the money that you put into the trade is gone already. Just take it off the balance. And if you can do that enough, if you can make that a habit and train yourself to do that, then you get less and less afraid of your trades. You don't worry about them as much. If you're into your trade and you're automatically worried about losing the money, you shouldn't have put the trade on the table anyways. You should accept that risk, accept the responsibility, and accept that risk before going into it. Journaling. Oh, man. This is one of the things that is most often skipped by new traders is journaling. Even experienced traders. Journaling, it is essential to your success. You need to track each trade, note your feelings and thoughts, and enter why you entered and exit the trades. And in addition to that, when I had wrote that, note your feelings and thoughts, when you're in a trade and you notice an emotional response, all right, just think of that. If you notice yourself thinking, oh man, this is going against me, or oh man, this is going to make me a lot of money, you need to make a note of that. Just on a little scratch sheet of paper, write down the time, and maybe put what I do is I have a little post-it notes, and I'll write down the time, dash, and then I'll write in something like excited, or I'll put worried. And usually that's enough for me to recall later when I'm doing my journaling at the end of the day. I will be able to look at that and say, oh, okay, now I can recall enough just from the time and that one word to put in my journal what I was thinking and what I was feeling at that time. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of journaling and then reviewing your own trades. Okay, this is your job. This is your business. Trading is a career. Trading is a business. And if you're not doing any due diligence on your part, if you're not making sure that you're following your own compliance rules, how are you going to get any better? Where are you going to know where your weaknesses are? It's very easy to ignore losing trades. Nobody wants to look at them. Nobody wants to analyze them. Nobody wants to admit that they took a trade and it went against them, and then they moved their stop to double what it should have been. Nobody wants to go through that and tell themselves, well, John, you were an idiot. You didn't follow your rules, and so why did you lose double the money you were willing to risk? Because I was afraid. I was afraid of losing that money, and I was hopeful that price would return to at least my break even, or a little bit, less than what the loss is now. That's why I did that. Nobody likes to go through that process, but it is essential. You have to be honest with yourself while you're trading. You cannot deceive yourself, because humans are really good at deceiving themselves. It's pretty funny to say that, but we're really good at deceiving our own selves, and we cannot do that as traders. Nothing in trading is comfortable. Nothing. Eat right. Oh man. I'm going to say this. Do not ignore this, because I did this, but you should have zero caffeine when you're trading. Certainly at the beginning of the day, no caffeine. No simple sugars, no skip the waffles, steak, eggs, whole milk, high protein, complex carbs, fat. That's what you should have in the morning. Because you can get it. Trading is a brain intense activity. I know there's a lot of research that says, that the brain for its size consumes about 20% of all the calories that you take. Your brain consumes 20% of all your calories, which is a pretty large portion of your caloric intake relative to the size of the organ that the brain is. And I know this because my wife deals with brains every day because she's a psychologist. And I asked her. But there's research that there's not a lot of research that supports the idea that the more intensive brain things you do, the more calories your brain burns. So there's not a lot of truth to that, because I did want to say, as a trader, you should keep a good carb intake for your brain. But then I quickly realized that I did that because of my exercising anyways. You should snack throughout the day to keep your energy up, and with vegetables and fruits. Careful of the sugars from the fruits. Exercise. Oh man. If I only had 3 things about trading that I would recommend, exercise would easily be like number 1, 2, or number 3. It's in the top 3. Because if you fail to take care of your body will fail you. The body fuels the mind. And on that, I do not use a sitting desk. I use a standing desk. I stand when I trade. If you're sitting while you're trading, that's fine. Just get up a lot. Strength training, I would heavily recommend strength training. If you're going to trade for a career, you should strength train. It translates into trading more than any other kind of exercise, because strength training is I'm assuming everybody knows the difference between a cardio workout and a strength training program. Okay, strength training means that you're lifting heavier and heavier weights, but eventually get to a point where you can't lift a certain weight, and the only way that you can start to lift that certain weight is by constantly failing at it, and then eventually working up to it again, and then being able to break through that resistance. Because in strength training, failure is the goal. You want to get to a point where you're failing to lift a certain weight so that you can work towards that one being your next goal to beat. Failure is the key to becoming stronger. It's in anything in life, failure is the best teacher. And it's the only way that you can really attain success. And I'm very serious about this. The exercise, I didn't believe this, but when I started a strength training routine, my trading improved a crazy amount. My attention to detail got better. My energy level was better. And strength training, I lift before I start work in the morning, and I'm ready to go. I'm like, if I miss a lifting day before my trading, I feel like crap. But so much of the struggle of strength training translates very, very well psychologically into trading. And second to last one here, find a therapist. If you want the biggest advantage over 99% of traders, go to therapy and learn about yourself. I am deadly serious about this. This would probably be number 1. If somebody said, what's your advice for getting better at trading? I'd say go find a therapist. Because we are our own worst enemies in trading. We are. It's not the market. It's not Goldman Sachs. It's not JP Morgan. It's not Deutsche Bank. It's not the Bank of China. You are your own worst enemy. You are the biggest hurdle to your success. And one of the great fallacies and one of the great things that nobody ever talks about in trading is that this is a 90% emotional and psychological career. And so if you find a therapist, you do therapy over the long term, and you learn about what it is about you that makes you you and where your weaknesses are, you will be way ahead of the game. Huge ahead of the game. I mean, there's a reason why, if you've seen on Showtime, there's a movie called Billions, and they have a staff psychologist who works specifically with traders. And that's a real gig. Billion-dollar firms recognize that traders suffer the most when they are not cognizant of their own emotions and their own thoughts and reactions to pain and suffering and loss. There's a reason why considerable expense is made for trading psychologists or trading therapists or whatever you want to call them. And you know what? It's one of the things that big, massive proprietary trading firms or funds, it's something that they use. It's a tool that you can go get. And it's not going to benefit you in just your trading. It's going to benefit you in all areas of your life. So honestly, seriously, find a therapist. And you're probably not going to. You're probably not going to go do it. But I hope that if you get to a point, and you will, where you are at the point of failure or your second, third, fourth, fifth time of failing as trading, I hope you remember this and then go do this. And this might be the thing that fixes your trading, is finding a therapist and going to therapy. Real quick, in summary, we need to accept that we cannot change a lifetime of unconscious defenses towards situations of pain and loss. We can't do that. We need to allow ourselves to experience our own thoughts, feelings, moods, and emotions. We don't want to change them. We want to experience them and be aware of them. They don't have to be the boogeyman. We need to basically say, okay, I know that you are telling me that I'm scared and that I'm afraid and that I'm nervous about this. That's okay. I'm going to let you do that. Because as long as we're aware of what it is, it won't affect us as much as in our trading. It's not running rampant and running without a leash. Reduce your trading commitment. Avoid putting a full position on. Ease back. Take a break. Take a vacation. Trading is a career. It's not your life. And find someone to talk to about your trading day and your successes and your failures. And exercise, exercise, exercise. And journal, journal, journal. In summary, last one here. Trading is a very difficult and lonely career, and that solitude makes it even harder to cope with strong emotions that we face at times. So make sure to take care of yourself before anyone else and anything else. All right. Hope you guys found this video helpful and informative. And sorry, it's more of a lecture, but this is probably the most important information in any of your trading is your related to your emotions and the psychology of trading. And when you can start to address these areas, your trading will get significantly better. Have a great day. Have a good trading session. And I will talk with you later in some other videos. Bye-bye.